with the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a rat too. I don't spare no motherfucker about it. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating. That means you're a rat.
Questioning you calling on the phone and talking on the phone with. Questioning doing crime with. And questioning that you got the authorization to check.
You can't talk to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King. You know
Man,
and your mama.
King Harris ain't letting nobody play with his name, especially when that heavy rat word gets thrown at him and his pops. And guess what? It looks like he's coming straight at Boozie for running his mouth. But let's back it up for a second. Remember when Boozie sat down with Vlad TV and flat out called T.I. a rat? He didn't sugarcoat a thing. Boozie claimed Tip himself admitted to working with the law, even saying he put the blame on his own dead cousin. That revelation had people staring wide-eyed and whispering all kinds of things. Man, King Harris ain't letting nobody play with his name, especially when that heavy rat word gets thrown at him and his pops. And guess what? It looks like he's coming straight at Boozie for running his mouth. But let's back it up for a second. Remember when Boozie sat down with Vlad TV and flat out called T.I. a rat?
Show somebody paperwork.
And they still fuck with the rat. What you call them?
If you show somebody paperwork, and the person who questioned my paperwork still with the person who wanted the paperwork you showed, what do we do?
He didn't sugarcoat a thing. Boozie claimed Tip himself admitted to working with the law, even saying he put the blame on his own dead cousin. That revelation had people staring wide-eyed and whispering all kinds of things. And Tip wasn't letting it slide either. He fired shots right back at Boozie, basically saying, "Who are you to call me out?" He didn't stop there, though. Tip even hinted at Boozie's own legal situations, where people been whispering for years that maybe he did some talking himself just to duck that heavy time. That must have hit hard, because Boozie spun the block quick. He started backtracking, saying maybe he jumped to conclusions about Tip before actually looking through all that paperwork. Not exactly an apology, but enough to admit he moved too fast on that rat label. But now here comes the twist. Boozie flipping the whole script, claiming he's got some so-called new heat to drop.
Questioning you calling on the phone and talking on the phone with. Questioning doing crime with. And questioning that you got the authorization to check. You can't check me.
Boozie went all out, dropping talk of a so-called snitch tape on Tip, trying to stamp him as official paperwork. But he didn't stop there. He dragged King Harris straight into it too, calling him just like his pops, a rat, a noisemaker, a clout chaser. Things got even messier when Boozie pulled up King's 2024 fiasco, when he nearly smashed into a cop car with weed out in the open and a gun sitting on his hip.
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well? All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You gotta take
There's no safety.
take the
Okay.
clip out.
Well, I'm not gonna mess around with that too much. I'm gonna just set this down right here. Dude, step out
Get
for
out
me.
now.
Yes, sir. Place your hands behind.
And it gets worse. King already had an old warrant hanging over his head from back in 2022. Speeding, suspended license, DUI, all just sitting there like a ticking time bomb until it finally exploded. Now the word on the street? King might be looking at a possible 5-year sentence. And that hits right at the image he's been trying so hard to flex as street ready. People been saying it loud. I've been warning that boy for years, but King just won't listen. Matter of fact, way back in 2022, Tip told King straight up,
My son, think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas? His ass going to prison. If you goddamn keep this shit up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly.
Talk to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King.
If you don't slow down, the only classroom you're gonna learn in is a jail cell. That's a cold warning. But Boozie ain't buying that whole concerned father act. He's pointing fingers, saying T.I. is the one who's been quietly fueling King's reckless behavior from day one. And honestly, it ain't hard to picture. Just think back to that wild Waffle House incident when King was only 17, snapping on employees on camera and clowning them like he was untouchable. Instead of checking his son, T.I. jumped to defend him, saying, "When you're rich, you get to do what you want." He even claimed those Waffle House workers were just jealous because they weren't living the life King had. The internet lost it after that.
You know, me and his uncles, you know, we were perplexed by his necessity to go back and forth with a short order cook. I didn't understand why he felt he needed to stop what he was doing to engage someone who was at such another level of life. And I had to explain to him that, you know, when people are not living...
Comments started flying left and right. One person wrote, "Thus far, T.I. has failed at parenting this child. This is a disgrace." Another added, "T.I. raised him this way, teaching him they're better than regular people." If that's the kind of fatherly guidance being passed down, how can Tip now turn around and say he's been trying to train King all along? But the mess didn't end there. Now people are putting Boozie on blast too, saying he shouldn't be judging T.I.'s son when his own son's track record is far from spotless. Tootie might not be too far off from King himself.
The way they hoped they would live, and here you is walking in with so much freedom and luxury. And you know, people gonna posture themselves a certain way. So therefore, you're gonna have to enjoy your life. You're gonna have to remove yourself from that energy and go enjoy your...
Word is, Tootie Raw just got snatched up in Atlanta on some serious charges. Illegal firearm possession, reportedly with a Glock fitted with a switch, plus a stack of other gun charges. They say he even got caught up in a chase, bolted into a wooded area. And when the smoke cleared, the cops pulled out heavy weapons. That news hit Boozie hard because people online wasted no time firing shots back at him. One person wrote, "Last time I checked, Boozie don't even have his own household and kids in check. How can he call out anybody else?" Another said flat out, "Boozie shouldn't open his mouth on fatherhood. He's a terrible father to his own children." And just when it couldn't get any wilder, Whack 100 jumped into an interview, hinting at something crazy. Maybe even suggesting Tootie could have been snitching on his own pops. Now that's messy. So if Boozie got chaos in his own house, why's he out here clowning King Harris like his son ain't moving the same way?
Dwayne Wade, you gone too far, dog. That is a male, a 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be. They don't have figured out yet. He might meet a woman, anything at 16, and fall in love with her. But it's be gone. How you gonna... Like, bro, you going too far, dog. Don't cut his off, bro.
This ain't just about clout. This is a feud that's been simmering for years. Boozie aiming at King Harris wasn't random at all. It was a direct shot at T.I. See, the spark goes back to when Boozie made them harsh comments about Dwayne Wade's daughter. The internet lit him up, calling him out as transphobic, and it turned into a firestorm. And guess who jumped right into the mix? T.I. himself. Tip hopped on Instagram telling Boozie to mind your business and stop worrying about another man's kids. That moment right there planted the seed for everything we're seeing now.
Like, bruh, for real, if he gonna be gay, let him be gay. But don't cut his dick off, bro. Like, don't address him as a woman, dog. He's 12 years old. He's not up there yet.
He hasn't made his final decision.
Ever since that moment, Boozie been swinging at Tip every chance he got, calling him a snitch in the gun case, dragging his parenting, and even clowning his whole family. So when King slipped up and made the headlines, Boozie saw his golden chance to twist the knife. At that point, it wasn't just about King anymore. The whole narrative flipped into T.I. failing as a father. That's what made it sting so bad. Every misstep King made, from the Waffle House meltdown to the arrests to even those paternity rumors, all of it got flipped into ammo, not just against him, but against Tip's entire legacy. The internet never forgets, and Boozie knew exactly how to stir that pot. At the root of it, King ain't even the real target here. His pops is. For Boozie, clowning King was the perfect way to humiliate T.I. For Tip, every headline about his son feels like another crack in the image he worked so hard to build. And for King, he's stuck in the middle, trying to prove himself, while the internet keeps turning him into a punchline. So now the real question is this. So what's really going on here? Is Boozie exposing some kind of truth? Or is he just flat out obsessed with dragging T.I. down every chance he gets? And what about King? Does he crumble under all this pressure? Or does he finally flip the script and prove everybody wrong? The spotlight is only getting hotter, and the drama's nowhere near cooling down. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're riding with this unfiltered heat, don't just scroll. Lock in, smash that like, hit subscribe, and keep it rolling with the next jaw-dropping story that's loading up right now.